Welcome back to our special coverage, America's Fiscal Debate. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell may speak for the Republican Party, but he doesn't speak for all Republicans. So will the deal he's working out with Vice President Joe Biden have the unanimous support from Senate Republicans that it needs to go directly to the House? Let's find out from one person who may have some issues, Kentucky Senator Rand Paul, who earlier today said the deal may simply be sticking it to the rich. Senator Paul, thank you for joining us here this evening on this New Year's Eve. Two questions. Will we see a vote in the Senate?
I'm glad to be with you. I did have other plans, but I guess this is the best I'm going to get for tonight.
Well, you and I both. Are we going to see a vote? Two questions. I'd like you to answer them both. Are we going to see a vote in the Senate tonight? Do you think that's going to happen? And if we do, what are you going to do about it?
I think we will have a vote tonight, and I think it will pass with bipartisan support. I've always said that we aren't quite addressing the real problem. You know, everybody's been talking about this cliff. If everyone's taxes go up, everyone's acknowledged that everyone's taxes going up is a bad thing. But then on the same hand, they say, well, some people's taxes going up is a good thing. And that to me is an inconsistency and has never made any sense to me. So I think taking more money out of the private sector and putting it in the hands of the government is a mistake. So I'm not really in favor of that. I think the deal, though, will pass. There will be some good that comes out of it. 99% of the people are going to get a permanent tax rate, the permanent Bush rates, which I think are better than letting their rates go up. So there is some silver lining. There is going to be new spending in the bill, and I think the new spending plus increase in taxes are really the wrong direction. I think the real crisis in our country is a debt crisis, and really what we have to do is we have to reduce spending significantly. And once they took entitlements off the table, I think they really said, you know what, we're not quite serious yet about fixing the debt crisis that's coming.
Senator, I am no expert in American civics, but I do understand that if this bill, should it appear, does not get 100 votes in the Senate, then it does not proceed immediately to the House. Is that correct?
Well, it just has to pass with probably a simple majority in the Senate.
No, I realize that, but for it to go to directly, if it doesn't get 100 votes in the Senate, does it not then go to cloture?
No, I don't think so. I think a simple majority just sends it over to the House. And the one thing that I've acknowledged that you know, the Republicans have worked very hard to get the best deal we could with tax rates that are expiring. So I'm not going to filibuster the bill. In the end, I am going to vote no because it has new spending and it also allows taxes to go up.
But given your strong objections, Senator, given those objections that you have, and those objections I know are based on principle, why wouldn't you filibuster? I'm not suggesting that you do, but I'd like to know why you wouldn't take that step. You know, how is it that you weigh the good and the bad? Clearly, you see some good, but there's, in your view, plenty of bad. You've just explained that to us.
Well, the thing is the one thing I think that is good in the deal, as I understand it, as it's been informed to me, is that making the Bush tax cuts or tax rates for 99% of the people permanent. Before, they've always been sunsetted. Making them permanent is a good thing, and I think that is something that Senator McConnell's frankly done a good job to negotiate that. And if that stays in the final deal, I think it's good for America. I think it's bad that we're letting any taxes go up, but, you know, I think Republicans felt they were caught in a bind with all the tax rates being sunsetted. On the margin, though, I will vote no because I think there's new spending and it fails to address the debt crisis. I try to reserve when I've filibustered for trying to get votes on certain issues, trying to draw attention to certain issues, and trying to bring up certain civil liberties issues that I do think are really, really important. On this, I think there's some good that will happen with the deal, but not enough good for me to vote for it.
Senator, I'd like to introduce my colleague, our chief Washington correspondent, Peter Cook. He is down in Washington, has been following every moment of this debate. He's standing right beside you. Peter, go ahead.
Just another quick question on the details here. You just left this private closed-door session with your fellow Senate Republicans. The sequester issue that's been the sticking point all along, how do you understand that's going to be dealt with? Will sequester survive? Are those budget cuts set to kick in at the beginning of the year going to stay there?
You know, the sequester was a modest step in the right direction in the sense that $1.2 trillion over 10 years was supposed to be reduced from spending. It's not actually a spending cut, but it reduces the growth of spending, which is a good thing, which is what we need to do as a country. We're going to delay that for a couple of months. The story I hear is that the delay will then be paid for or offset with other spending cuts. If that is accurate, that's also a good way because we do need spending cuts. My main point that I've been making is we shouldn't give up on the idea that what we primarily need around here are spending cuts.
And you do think we'll get a vote tonight and something will pass the U.S. Senate?
There's a very good chance that we get a vote, and I think there's a very good chance it'll get bipartisan support.
All right, Eric, I'll send it back to you, New York.
Peter, thank you very much. And Senator Paul, thank you as well. Senator Rand Paul from Kentucky telling us right here that while he has some objections to this bill, and if it comes to pass and will vote against it, he will not filibuster. Up next, we're speaking